Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Boy with the Beanie here again, and this one is the Don't Sleep series by TSI. How do you say that? Tazaya Saya. I don't properly know how to say it. Even though it's right here. Yeah. I'm just gonna say Tasaya. Close enough. But I was recommended to do either Achilles or Gilgamesh, so I know a bit more about Achilles as a famous warrior, so I'll do him first.
They told me that doing Karna wasn't enough. We gotta get my boy Achilles in the mix too. Rider of the Red, we don't take L's, we aim for the head, man. Let's get off into it. He has incredible amounts of dexterity, being able to catapult his own spear, kick Chiron in the chest, and then catch the spear as if nothing happened. He decimated an entire group of 1-ton golems from sheer shock waves of his speed alone. You have his fight against Vampire Vlad. Despite him having this overwhelming power, Achilles was able to blitz Vlad several times at a speed so fast that he didn't even know what was going on. He's able to destroy Vlad's projectile stakes at point blank range. He was able to shoot straight through a 300-ton plane with his chariot. You want to talk about feats? Look no further. This man was able to crash into a 300-ton plane.
I mean, to be fair, with the story of Achilles going back in history, with his fighting prowess and strength, this is basically just Achilles amplified on crack. And even getting to his NPs or he boosts or he physical heighteners, physical boosters, whatever. Even getting into that, yeah, this is my base form. Why did Wile E. Coyote just summon this guy for the runner?
Tactfully used that plane as a shield to block Chiron's arrows, slice up the plane's debris, and use his kicks and punches to throw them as projectiles at machine gun bullet speed. On top of that, I'm just getting warmed up. He has the power to manifest his own reality marble. Chiron going as far to
What?
mention how impressed he was at his level of magecraft. He is an excellent fighter when it comes to close range combat, offering Chiron a one-on-one slug match and outpacing him majority of the time. He kicked Chiron straight through a metal plane wall. Towards the end of the fight, he landed a punch with so much force behind it that it flat out blew a hole through Chiron's chest. And yes, he is really like that. In his fight against Atalanta, he was teleporting all over the place at Mach speed, landing on boulders.
At that point, you can't even call it teleportation or just moving that fast. I think Piccolo said it the best.
To keep his momentum, initiating spear manipulations while he's on these boulders, following this up with a speed blitz on Atalanta for the win. Just looking at the shockwave from the attack was enough to completely shatter the floors around them at a great distance. Not to mention, the acceleration of him pulling this off was enough to shatter the boulder that he jumped from. Even when he was weakened from losing his divine defense, he was able to knock down 5 of Atalanta's mock arrows with no effort. Let's be honest, a lot of these servants out here are he say, she say. They're only good on paper, but Achilles is really out here putting...
You really gonna tell me that bullshit? He say, she say, good on paper. The fuck you telling me only good on paper? With the other series, I know the other ones that I covered was Beasts and Grand Servants, which is basically just top tier and two opposites. But you're really gonna tell me that these servants are only... You know I'm about it more than me.
Servants in the dirt. You have several different scenarios where he's moonwalking on the guards from Lost Belt 5, one of which
Has anybody ever asked why these guards have no nips? Or do your muscles just grow that big that it just folds it underneath the muscles? Either that or you're just born without nips.
Admitting to the fact that he was just too fast to keep up with. He casually kicked a field goal with Paris, who is an entire servant, by the way, in his fight against Chiron when he tried to slow Achilles down. This man pushed an entire 300-ton plane with his bare hand.
Wait, Achilles is not a servant?
hands.
You
You
find out?
thought that this was gonna stop me? The nerve! He has enough power to throw his spirit Vlad at the speed of a bullet using his own calculations. Chiron doubted that he would be able to beat Achilles even if he could understand his fighting style. This is his teacher saying this. When he was on his chariot, he went through another 300-ton plane and ripped it in half.
Why does this man have such a hate for planes and aircrafts in general? I swear, it's like when he was small, somebody just bumped him with a kite on the head way too many times, and he's just in it. And every time he sees something flying, he's just like, "Fuck you in particular, good sir."
He weaved through countless bullet speed arrows from Atalanta. He dodged a sniper shot from Chiron in an instant, avoiding a fatal hit to his heel. If you look into his
uh, funny. Achilles' heel.
story, Achilles was taught by Chiron to dodge hundreds of arrows by the time he was 8 years old. He speed blitzed a group of homunculi so fast that it caused their blood to appear as if it was raining. He can easily knock down any of Chiron's mock arrows if they fall in his line of sight. He dodged multiple arrows that was shot by Chiron at point blank when he was up against Vampire Vlad. It's stated that his stakes are verbatim supersonic speed, and Achilles was slicing them out the air like they were nothing. He was able to deflect Chiron's arrow with the back of his spear by detecting the mana that was behind it. He didn't even turn around. He deflected several sniper arrows while he was in the field. He deflected Chiron's shots while he was mid-air, jumping from a tree. He even managed to catch an arrow a split second before it landed in his eye. You have several times where his travel and his reaction speed are regarded as being instant. He was dodging Vlad's stakes even though he couldn't see. He was weaving his attacks despite them covering a large area. The novel tells us that anything that's in his vision is already striking distance. In grand order, he opened
Isn't that like Sharingan but on meth?
admits himself that he can go at ultrasonic speeds. When he was fighting against Chiron, he proclaimed to be the fastest human hero around. He told Ritsuka if he was going at his fastest speed, he wouldn't be able to see him.
I retract my previous statement of like the Grand Servants and the Beasts. I did not know this guy was human. What kind of training did you do? At the age of 8, you're dodging arrows at that. And I thought I was fast. Jesus Christ.
At all. You have his gifted chariot. It tells us that anything that touches this chariot would turn into pace. You have multiple scenarios regarding its high speed. It's been called light speed, bullet speed, capable of breaking the sound barrier. It was faster than Chiron's arrows and can close the gap between them in an instant. Then we have his durability. In grand order, the guards were in shock at how durable he still was after being shot in his heel. If you're looking to start a fight with Achilles, you might want to get in line. Only beings that have divinity are allowed to even harm him. This is insane. The only exception being a weapon of divine concept.
Or you could just try and take out vision. Try that. It's not gonna be easy, but still.
Or changing up his status to make him an ally. He straight up took on several arrows from Chiron. Let's put that into perspective. Even when Chiron was missing his arrows, they were strong enough to casually create giant craters in the ground. In their first battle, he dodged an arrow with no time to spare and tanked a hit from Chiron point blank. He tanked several of Chiron's brutal face punches in their 1v1. He tanked being thrown at the plane and got right back up. He shook off a hit from Chiron's horse leg when he was in his centaur form, while they were fighting in his reality marble. Chiron face planted Achilles into the wall and dragged him for a great distance. He still shook off the damage. In his fight with Atalanta, where he had lost his divine defense due to Chiron, he was still keeping up with Atalanta's damage thanks to his armor. Either that, or he was just ignoring the pain altogether.
I mean, to be fair, when adrenaline is pumping straight through your head, pain doesn't really make anything. Pain doesn't really make you feel anything. Because multiple times I was on World, that was like a few years back. And yeah, if you look at my hand closely, you can see like cuts and shit that was healed. I almost lost this finger because of a piece of really thin wire that was shaved off our chrome shaft. I nearly lost this entire thing. But due to just always being on moving, on work, doing something, finding something to do, when this nearly cut into my tendon and nearly take off my finger, I didn't really feel it. Because when adrenaline is pumping through your head, you don't exactly feel anything aside from all that. You kind of just want to get the work done, or whatever you was doing, you just want to get it done, and then you can see about the pain.
Even when you manage to hit his heel, it still doesn't kill him. Going back to FGO, it only makes him 70% slower and brings him down to regular mortality. Hitting him in the heel would just give you a normal fight. This doesn't even account for the fact of his A rank battle continuation. You know who else has that rank? Herc and Cool, just to give you an idea. In FGO, he kept fighting even after his heart was pierced by Chiron. And that's not all. This man is immune to mental attacks. By normal standards, you couldn't negate his defense even if you wanted to.
Does that mean he's too stupid to understand when it's time to stop? Or is he just that motivated to finish the fight? Or well, win the fight?
When he fought against Siegfried, due to his divine defense condition, he took no damage. The story itself admits that he's practically immortal, and even his noble phantasm wouldn't do anything against him. You have his shield that he didn't even use, that was given to Astolfo and absorbed Krana's noble phantasm. Light work. And lastly, let's get off into his skills. During the scene of the hanging...
So you're telling me everything that was mentioned so far is not his skills? Speed, durability, the persistence in our fight. You tell me that's not his skills and that's just passive attributes? I'm just gonna call it passive attributes because that's what I think it is. A passive attribute to just not give up, be really fast, and I forgot what the third one was because I have the attention span IQ of a cheese ball.
Gardens, he was easily able to fend off Semi's chains when they were fighting in the forest. He blocked Siegfried and Frankenstein at the same time. Huh? He then goes on to mock them for having the audacity to think that was enough. My boy said, y'all can't beat me 2-on-1? And here I was trying to make it fair. Oh my goodness. Once again, he caught one of Chiron's arrows in his teeth, despite the novel telling us that it was virtually impossible for him to see. When it comes to his style, he's known to be tactical, constantly shifting the dynamic in the way that he delivers. It also tells us that he's way more calculated than he looks. Due to him knowing how skilled he was as a master, he was filtering hundreds of strategies against Chiron in his mind. He managed to push Ritsuka out of harm's way with no time to spare. Amakusa himself mentioned that he would at least be a match for the invincible Krana. Going by Chiron's word, Achilles is not someone to be taken lightly. It's said that he's extremely knowledgeable, he's great at medicinal arts, and he mastered all of his lessons by the age of 10. In his conversation with Amakusa, he knew that Semiramis was targeting him despite her hiding.
Mastering all the lessons by the age of 10. If you're a master by the age of 10, and I have no idea how old he is now, you have more than enough time to hone everything into a perfect state for your fighting style basically. So yeah, this, if you know how to run by the age of 5, and then you just keep trying to run faster and faster and faster and faster each day, eventually you're gonna keep getting faster. If you see you can't push yourself fast enough, get weights and tray it on your back, get some leg weights, do your Rock Lee shit, and then just keep getting faster. By the time you take it off, you're gonna be blitz walking Usain Bolt. So yeah, a lot of time to hone your skills, but I have no idea how old he looks. He could be 21 and then he might just be reverse age 5. Anime is weird like that.
In spirit form, he can launch, manipulate, and retract his spirit at great speeds. He can summon his gifted chariot at will, the chariot itself coming with 2 divine immortal horses. He can even do this while he's mid-air to avoid fall damage. And of course, he pierced through Semi's divine scales. He told her if I was serious, my spear would have also went through Shiro's face. You don't want this issue. What more is there to say? Truly one of the most robust fighters in the series with some flavorful techniques to complement this on the side. Listen, the truth is the truth. We gotta hit him with the A rank. The question now is, who's next?
Right. Well, that's about where the video ends there, and if I'm being honest, I think I would rather read the manga than actually watch the anime or play what I would assume is the visual novel. Tell me what else you want me to react to next, because these are getting quite interesting, mostly because I like the heroes they're based off of.